This week marks the 35th anniversary of the death of Lord Louis Mountbatten, uncle of Prince Philip and decorated naval officer. Lord Mountbatten was killed by the IRA at the age of 79 when a bomb was detonated on a boat he had been fishing on while on holiday.
In honour of his memory and those who served under him on the HMS Newcastle, two of the last surviving crew members, both from the Midlands, paid tribute to him at the National Memorial Arboretum. Lee Comley was there.
Remember those they served with. Two of the last four remaining crew members of the HMS Newcastle, who served under Lord Mountbatten from 1947 to 1949, pay their respects. Lord Mountbatten was the last Viceroy of British India and the first Governor-General of independent India. Close to his death, reunions were held every year for those who served with him on the HMS Newcastle, but as their number dwindled, a tree was planted at the National Memorial Arboretum.
Well, when I started the reunions, I thought we've got to have a reason for a date sort of thing. And I said, when Lord Louis was murdered, that's an ideal date to remember. And I got in touch with his daughter, Pamela, and she thought it was a marvellous idea as well.
Just four of those crew remain. Only two could make that trip to pay their respects on the 35th anniversary of Lord Mountbatten's death, but they shared their memories of serving on the HMS Newcastle to those at a small service.
Super guy. He used to quiz me, ask me questions. What do you reckon about so-and-so? Shall we do this? Shall we do that? You know. And yeah. One particular thing, we went into Leghorn in Italy, and he said to me, I think we'll get a couple of boats, row up the river to Pisa and go up the Tower of Pisa. He said, sound the lads out, see what they think. And I did exactly that. Yeah, he used to ask me all sorts of things. He was a smashing guy. He spent his time all day walking around the ship talking to the lads, you know.
As the number of crew who served under Lord Mountbatten dwindles, this tree stands as a memorial. Those that could make the trip remember the 35th anniversary of the death of a man they served under and their friends who are no longer here. Lee Comley, ITV News.
An organisation that helps youngsters has been celebrating its 60th birthday. WAKEMAN is now linked to more than 100 youth groups in Warwickshire, Coventry and Solihull.
One of the founder members from the 1950s says she believes the charity has helped boost the confidence of many hundreds of young people aged between 10 and 25. Keith Wilkinson went along to the birthday party.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear WAKEMAN. Happy birthday to you.
For 6 decades now, young people like MAMPREET SAHOTA have been helped by the Warwickshire Association of Youth Clubs.
I was pretty in low place at the time, and the guys at WAKEMAN picked me up and give me the confidence to say that, yeah, you can achieve, and that's what I've done, so much credit goes to them. They've helped me different projects such as leadership course. I was low on confidence, so since then just gathered so much confidence from doing it.
Jake Salisbury and his friend Matthew Taylor have had help start off their own gardening business.
If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have all the money or equipment. They've helped us with grants and loans. And
do you think you're going to get on well with this business?
Well, so far it's on all right, yeah.
Hannah Fletcher was a young mum living in a hostel. She says the charity helped her build her confidence. She's now got a degree and is a community centre manager.
They were a massive help because they got me in touch with a lot of other young mothers and mothers so that we were able to do activities and residentials, play dates together.
Well, I hope it's given them a lot of enjoyment. I hope they've learnt a lot. I hope they've learnt to coordinate with other people. I think and hope it's given them a lot of confidence, which is half the things that the young need, so they can go forward. And I hope they've learnt as well, things which they wouldn't have had a chance to do otherwise.
60 years on, the organisation now support 140 youth groups, and in the build-up to their Diamond Jubilee, worked with almost 600 young people. Keith Wilkinson, ITV News.
I bet they needed a big birthday cake after helping all those young people. Happy birthday. You're watching ITV News Central. Still to come, World Cup winners in town. The women's rugby team stopped by in Birmingham to celebrate their historic win.
Now, it's a tense time for some parents, or, well, relief, maybe, for some, as children across the region prepare to go back to school. But that also means buying new school uniforms. That is becoming an even bigger problem than ever.
Yes, the obesity epidemic, which is already prolific in some parts of the West Midlands, is forcing school uniform shops to now sell trousers with 50-inch waists. Retailers are even supplying primary school pupils with 40-inch jumpers, a size normally worn by grown men.
It means many children starting primary school are now overweight or obese. In a moment, we'll hear from a nutrition expert. But first, this report from Amy Welch.
The orders keep on coming, the sizes keep on growing.
Okay.
So what size have we got here?
This is the 50 blazer we were talking about. It is an adult size, probably in the line of 4XL, 5XL.
5 years ago, John McHugh's schoolwear would never have stocked a blazer this big. But as children grow, so too do their school uniforms.
We stock up to a 42 waist. We have made larger ones if needed.
Figures show that 1 in 10 children are obese when they start primary school and a third are obese when they leave, which means shops like this have seen a 15 to 20% rise in requests for larger sizes. Graham McHugh's worked for the family business for more than 40 years and says the growth has been gradual.
It's not all of a sudden been an explosion of big sizes, but year by year we're having to stock larger, certainly blazers and trousers.
Is there embarrassment over that?
No, quite often. I mean, it's true to say that the bigger children often have bigger parents, so it's something they think of as quite normal in most cases.
Javina McLean says this is the root of the problem and wants parents to take the lead.
Kids are like sponges, so if they see the parents or people older in the family practising good habits and doing good habits, they're hopefully going to want to do it as well.
In disadvantaged communities in particular, where weight management problems are greatest, there are too few sports opportunities.
We do all sorts of things like football, rugby, for girls, like athletics and stuff like that.
If I'm just sat at home on my computer, then I'm just like not doing anything. But if I'm out with my friends and stuff, like playing football and stuff, it's just really fun.
Thousands of youngsters are taking part in annual street games, and while the debate over how to combat obesity goes back and forth, the focus here is making exercise fun.
Well, for more on this, we're now joined by Mel Wakeman, a senior lecturer in nutrition and applied physiology at Birmingham City University. So, Mel, we saw those quite shocking images, really, of those large skirts in really adult sizes. What's going on?
Yeah, it is shocking, and it really highlights the fact that we need to target this and something needs to be done about it. Essentially what we're looking at is lack of physical activity that was highlighted, but a huge part to play, I think, is in terms of diet for children. And a lot of this goes back to, it is parental responsibility. If we look at adults these days, we're not necessarily setting the best example. We're not eating properly, we're not cooking at home so much, we're relying on takeaways and convenience food and fast food, and then we're not necessarily demonstrating those healthy eating habits.
It's fair to say that crisps and bars of chocolate, cakes and biscuits should be eaten at a minimum, but we also get messages now that fruit could be too high in sugar for us, and yet we're told fruit's healthy, so the messages are a little bit mixed, aren't they?
Yeah, it's very confusing at the moment. We're getting lots of mixed messages. Children's diets are very rich in energy at the moment, and you're right, that's because they're relying on sort of processed foods in terms of snacks and ready meals, and that they're drinking lots of sugary drinks and biscuits and crisps and so on. But the area around fruit juice is that kids are allowed, to have fruit juice, but again, it's viewed that it should be in moderation, or to a certain extent a minimum.
We all know fussy eaters when it comes to children. What can we do to get them to eat more healthily?
We can, I think, role model better. I think we need to share sort of eating experiences. If we can find at least one time during the week where a family can sit down at the table together and you're all eating the same thing rather than ships passing in the night, that food isn't necessarily used as a reward. The idea is that children have quite sweet tastes, and they like, obviously, sweet cakes and biscuits, and we tend to use those as treats, and they have a preference for sweet foods. So when we come to offering them, what we would consider to be healthier options in terms of vegetables or foods that children might think are more boring or bland, they tend to turn their nose up at them because they have...
So really everything in moderation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And strict moderation, I think that's the key. Perhaps some people are a bit too generous on the moderation. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Very much enjoyed speaking to Mel. The national and international news is a few moments away. Let's find out what's coming up with Mary Nightingale.